Welcome to Sports Guy Talking. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am joined by guest Cincere Koonce today to debate about what is happening in the Heat versus Celtics series. The Heat are currently dominating the Celtics as they were up 3-0 in this series. With one more win, the Heat are going to go back to the NBA Finals for the first time since the bubble year, which was in 2020. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Are the Heat playing that good, or are the Celtics playing that bad?
I think the Heat are playing that good because the way Jimmy Butler has been in the playoffs, he's been so efficient. He's not scared to take it to the paint. He's a good competitor. And along with the role players of assisting him, even through the injuries that they have, which were big, which was the Tyler Hero injury and the Victor Oladipo injury, the role players still find out a way to get themselves involved and to help Jimmy Butler in a good possible way.
Well, I think it's going to be a combination of both things as to answer that question. Although I do believe that the Miami Heat are indeed playing that good, I do believe some of it contributes to the Boston Celtics being that bad in this series. It's not because the Boston Celtics are a bad team, it's just because of their coaching. Joe Mazzulla is getting out-coached by Erik Spoelstra badly. When you look at the Celtics roster, you think, okay, they should be able to match up with the Heat somewhat relatively well, but that hasn't been the case so far in this series. And what's been the big difference between this year's roster and last year's roster for the Boston Celtics? Ime Udoka versus Joe Mazzulla. When Ime Udoka was there for the Boston Celtics, they were well coached. Ime Udoka was a top 5, top 10 head coach in the NBA last season. That's how good Ime Udoka was for them. As for Joe Mazzulla, although he might not be a bad coach in general, he is not a great coach right now, and he might be a league average coach at best. When you look at Joe Mazzulla, the Boston Celtics just stand around at the three-point line. That's basically their offense, and they say, okay, Jason Tatum, okay, Jaylen Brown, just jack up as many threes as you like, and if the three ball isn't working, just keep jacking up more threes. They act like they are the Splash Brothers with the Golden State Warriors, but that's not their play style. When Ime Udoka was there was an actual system in place. Actual plays were being ran. They were actually running ISO plays for Jason Tatum to get his spots in the mid-range game. Same thing with Jaylen Brown as well. And speaking of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I want to go ahead and get on those two for how they have been playing, because so far they have been selling almost the entire series, particularly in the second half of these games. And in game 3, they were essentially a no-show. They essentially got wiped off the floor by the Miami Heat. If you thought the Milwaukee Bucks got embarrassed losing in 5 games to the number 8 seeded Miami Heat team, wait till you see this Boston Celtics team getting on the verge of getting swept by the Miami Heat, because this Boston Celtics team has not played good so far in the series whatsoever, and the Miami Heat are just out-coaching them. But I also think this contributes to how well the Miami Heat are playing. I actually think that the Miami Heat are playing that good, and that this is more the Heat being good more so than the Celtics being bad, because you look at this Heat team, they got playoff Jimmy Butler. Yes, that is a real thing. They got Caleb Martin. He's been really good for them as well. Bam Adebayo, he's done his thing. Gabe Vincent, he's done a good job shooting those threes. And how about Duncan Robinson, man? He's been out of the rotation for 2 years, and for him to come back and to play as well as what he's been playing, credit to Duncan Robinson where credit is due. Then there's Max Strus. He's been playing really well, shooting the 3-ball, being able to give them good defense as well. And how about Kyle Lowry off the bench? Kyle Lowry has done a good job leading the second unit for the Miami Heat. Then there's Kevin Love. What a solid addition that the Miami Heat made mid-season. For Kevin Love to be able to play as well he's been playing, credit to him as well. And Cody Zeller has given them solid minutes at the backup center position. So I think the Miami Heat are just really playing that well, and they've peaked at the right time, and they're playing with tremendous confidence. And a lot of that needs to go to Coach Spoelstra in terms of credit being given.
And also, I want to get this off my chest. Jason Tatum is like inconsistent when it comes to playoff games. It's like on the road, he's inefficient. In the home games, he's like a top 10 player in the playoffs. So it's like inconsistency is there. And as much as he won the Supermax, to me, he's not worth that. I'm not just saying Jaylen Brown is better, but I'm just saying as far as who would deserve that. But I think that comes to issue also.
Yeah, and Jason Tatum, man, he plays really well at home, but on the road, he seems to struggle. Jason Tatum's kind of a little bit of a front runner. I'm not saying that he isn't clutch, but when the going gets going, Jason Tatum, you see how he piles on those points. But when you need him to come from behind, and when you need him to score every bucket possible, he doesn't really come through more often than not, though. But let me go ahead and ask you this, though. Do you think the Miami Heat end up sweeping the Boston Celtics, as they will probably return back to the NBA Finals this year?
Yes, I do. 100%.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the Miami Heat are going to win Game 4 for sure, and I think they're going to end up sweeping the Boston Celtics. The hard part's already out of the way for the Miami Heat. The Boston Celtics look defeated right now. And if you saw what happened in Game 3, the Boston Celtics pulled out their entire starting unit at the start of the fourth quarter, which means that you know that the Boston Celtics are essentially throwing in the white towel. They know that they don't got a shot against this Miami Heat team. And this is really a shame for the Boston Celtics as well, because last year they beat the number 1 seed Miami Heat team. Now this year the Heat are an 8th seed, but the Boston Celtics, they can't seem to get any wins against the Miami Heat, and they seem to show almost no signs of life. And how about Erik Spoelstra, man? Erik Spoelstra is an elite head coach. He's probably the best head coach in the NBA right now in terms of getting the most out of his roster. He's done an incredible job getting the most out of it, and to be able to have role players like Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Cody Zeller, amongst others as well, playing as well as what they're playing, that's a testament to the culture and the system that the Miami Heat have brought. And you think about the fact how the Miami Heat have 7 undrafted players on their roster, and they're on the verge of going to the NBA Finals. What a coaching job by Erik Spoelstra. I really am impressed by how good the Miami Heat are playing. I've just been wowed by them. And Erik Spoelstra, man, what a great coach he is.
Yeah, and Miami being the underdogs for 3 series is insane, but they're just showing that they came for a reason and they came to dominate.
But you know what's also wild to me as well? The fact that the Boston Celtics had a 97% chance of winning the series according to ESPN. That was just mind-blowing to me. When you look at this Miami Heat team, they're still a solid basketball team and they're well coached. How could the odds makers not believe in the Miami Heat whatsoever? Especially after what they did to the number 1 seeded team in the Eastern Conference, in the Milwaukee Bucks, and also taking down an elite New York Knicks defense as well. And to be able to see the Miami Heat be able to beat the odds and be able to go back to the NBA Finals, potentially speaking, that's just really impressive to me. And who would have thought that after the bubble year, the Miami Heat would return back to the NBA Finals sooner than the Los Angeles Lakers would have? I don't think that's something a lot of people expected whatsoever, but the Miami Heat are proving that their team in the bubble was certainly no fluke, and playoff Jimmy Butler is indeed a real thing. Jimmy Butler has got to be one of the most underrated superstars in terms of the playoffs. He plays like Michael Jordan's son. That's how good that he's been playing. And you and I, we both believe that the Miami Heat are going to indeed sweep the Boston Celtics and end up returning back to the NBA Finals. But final question for you, who do you think deserves most of the credit for the success of the Miami Heat in the playoffs this year?
Jimmy Buckets easily.
Well, I think that's the easy answer to say, but I'm not going to pick him. I'm going to pick Erik Spoelstra, because Erik Spoelstra is being able to get the most out of guys like Duncan Robinson, and to be able to lose Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo in the same playoff run, and to be able to say, you know what, that doesn't matter. Let me go ahead and plug in Duncan Robinson. Let me go ahead and increase the playing time for Caleb Martin, and let's go ahead and win these playoff series. That's just really incredible to me. So I think that Erik Spoelstra, what he's done has been incredibly impressive. To me, the Miami Heat are just playing that good. I mean, the Boston Celtics are playing that bad in the Eastern Conference Finals, but don't mistake that for the Miami Heat not being that good, because the Miami Heat are indeed that good. I'm just been really impressed with how they've played. All right, well, thanks for being on the show, Cincere. Appreciate you coming on here. All right, make sure you follow his Instagram at Cincere.Koonce. Again, thanks for being on the show, man.
No problem, anytime.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. All right, see you, bro.
See you.
Yup, bye. That was Cincere Koonce that you guys just heard. So he's going to say that the Miami Heat are indeed playing that good, and that this is not necessarily an indictment on how bad the Boston Celtics are playing. I'm going to go ahead and say that it is a little bit of both, although I am more willing to be convinced that the Miami Heat are indeed playing that good. And I really believe that more so than the Boston Celtics are struggling in the series. I don't think the Boston Celtics are a bad team. I just think the Miami Heat have caught fire at the right time, and that they are indeed a really good basketball team. A lot of credit needs to be given to Jimmy Butler and Erik Spoelstra for the success of the Miami Heat, and congrats to them for essentially being able to get back to the NBA Finals for the first time since the bubble year. They're proving that the bubble year was indeed not a fluke, and that they are a legitimate contender year in and year out. So that's just really impressive on that front. Also, I got the Heat winning Game 4 as well. Cincere agrees with that as well. Ultimately, though, we see the Miami Heat sweeping the Boston Celtics as they will return back to the NBA Finals for the first time since the bubble year. So that is why this is more the Heat playing that good, more so than the Celtics playing that bad in the Eastern Conference Finals. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at DustinTran and that Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter at DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.